across the world and throughout the ages, people have devised ways to find out the will of the gods. Whether it was by scrying in a crystal ball, or reading palms, or the entrails of animals, or whether it was by interpreting symbolic images, people have always used divination to find the answer to their deepest questions. One particularly popular form of divination works with 78 images on playing cards. T is for tarot. In popular culture, divination is portrayed as a way to predict the future. Druids are more likely to use them to find answers to questions and to seek clarity in the situations they find themselves in. Divination in general, and tarot in particular, is a great way to ask questions of your life, to find out why things are the way they are and what possible solutions might be. It is a way to access our intuition and our deepest inner wisdom. There are many card oracles for divination in the world. Many oracle cards have been created over the last few decades, but the tarot is probably the best known one, and it has a particular structure. You know you've got a tarot when you have 21 major arcana cards, which are numbered from 0 to 21, and 4 suits of cards: swords for the element of air, wands for the element of fire, cups for the element of water, and pentacles for earth. These suits are like our playing cards. They have an ace and then the numbers 2 to 10, and then some court cards. Though in the tarot there are 4 people rather than just 3, as in modern playing cards. We have princesses, which are sometimes called pages, princes, which are sometimes called knights, queens, and kings. In fact, all the names of all the cards vary between the many different packs that you can get. But that's the basic structure of them. There are so many different tarots to choose from these days. If there is a theme in literature or in popular culture, then you can be sure that there's a tarot for it. I know of dragon tarots, cat tarots, fairy tale tarots, spooky Halloween tarots. Any theme that you can find in modern culture probably has a tarot for it. Tarot images are so intricate and full of life that they speak to your imagination and let you find clarity about situations in your life and about questions you might have. I'll just draw a Margarete Petersen card just at random. A popular question to ask the tarot is, what do we need to know right now? What do we need to know? Shuffle the question carefully into the cards, and when it feels right to stop, you stop. Cut the cards and find your answer, which is the 6 of coins, and it has 2 hands and 2 feet. There's also a spiral between the 2 feet, and to me that speaks of receiving the energy of the earth and giving it back, like our feet on the ground receive the energy of the earth, and it passes up through our bodies, and we give it back out into the world with our hands. So what we need to know right now could be something like, we need to be aware of all the things that we receive from the earth and consciously share it Let's have a look at what the Six of Coins looks like in the other decks. The Pentacle suit is called Coins in Margarete Petersen, but in the Rider-Waite Smith, it's the Six of Pentacles. It's a teeny card, so I'll bring it a bit closer to the camera. Here you are. It is somebody who looks like a very rich man who's giving alms to the poor. There's this guy's cloak, it's got a patch in it, and this one's cloak looks really tattered and dirty, and this guy is definitely rich and well-to-do and has got very nice clothes on indeed. He's got some scales in his hand, so he's about balancing. So he's balancing things out by giving away some of his riches. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I look at these. The Spiral Tarot, this time we have 3 people of different ranks. There is a king with a crown, there's a beggar who's on bare feet with tatty trousers on, and there's a lady who looks like she's middle class, middle of the road. And again, they are balancing between themselves with their hands on the scales all together, sharing the riches of the land, which is depicted in the fruit trees behind. In the Arthurian tarot, things are quite different. Their suit cards are just landscapes with no people in them. So you can interpret them by imagining that you are in the landscape. Stone 6 is 6 standing stones in a circle with a blazing fire in the middle of them. And I think the theme of that is very similar yet again, where the stones absorb the heat of the fire and radiate it out again. I've ordered the cards of the Druidcraft tarot, so it should be easy to find the Six of Pentacles, where again we find somebody giving away some money, or at least it looks like he is giving away a coin to the outstretched hands. But this person doesn't look particularly rich. He looks like a wise old man, and he's sitting under an oak tree with some mistletoe in it as well. Mistletoe is a very sacred plant to the Druids, and it is about wisdom and regeneration. So what he is sharing is probably beyond just the material. So here you have them, all very different, but similar. It's about receiving and giving away. Let's do a reading for the earth. After all, she carries us all and holds us close to her and nourishes and feeds us every day. And we do quite horrible things back to her. So it might be a good idea to have a card in the middle about the state of the earth as she is now. One to the left about what we shouldn't do, and one to the right about what we should do for the earth. So, shuffle that question into the deck. One for the earth, one about what we shouldn't do, and one about what we should do. Well, we see a wounded and worn out warrior whose land is on fire and who is behind some pointed sticks, apparently defending his hill fort. And that says quite a lot about the state of the earth, I think. Nature is driven into defence, is quite wounded and worn out. The world is on fire and it is retreating, trying to defend itself. What we shouldn't do. The Hermit reversed. There is a hermit, a wise man with his wolf, trekking through the wilderness by the light of the moon and the light of his lantern. The lantern is his own inner wisdom that he is following through this landscape. But what does that mean when we find him upside down in our reading? If we see the rock as the material world, then in this position, the rock, the material world, our materialism, is bearing down on the light of intuition and inner guidance. So perhaps this card is saying, don't let materialism and the material world overshadow your intuition and your inner light. What we should do for the earth. Oh, it's the High Priestess. She is standing between two standing stones. She is standing there at night under the moon and the stars by her altar. And she looks to me like she is in a moment of prayer and of reverence for the beauty of the universe all around her. The High Priestess guards the entranceway to the other world being symbolized by the stars and the moon in the sky and the sea behind her, which is a symbol of the unconscious. And it so happens that the tarot is a way into the unconscious and into our intuition. And the High Priestess is standing guard. And perhaps this card is saying that we need to address our questions about the earth and its state of being and what we can do about it to our deepest intuitions and our deepest consciousness. What would your interpretation of those cards be in answer to that question? Do you have your own divination practice, and what's your favourite form of divination? Do you have your own favourite tarot deck? Let us know in the comments below. Click like if you enjoyed watching this video, and subscribe if you want to see the rest of the Alphabet Superset of Druidry. Thank you so much for watching and for playing with the cards with me. I'll see you soon for the next video, which will be the U for Universe.